concerned that our income tax receipts are lagging this year as compared to last year. On the more favorable side, we are our spending is in line with our budget and with prior year, and we've actually spent less money this year than last year, and our overall receipts from all funds year-to-date are $3.8 million. Prior year were $4.3 million, and that gap is directly attributable to the local government fund and inheritance taxes. So all those things about less money coming to local governments in the paper are in fact true, and we're experiencing those. We anticipated those, but we are in fact experiencing those. So we're going to keep a close eye on the income tax, and we'll keep everybody informed. I do want to, as part of our charter, if council is going to make changes to the rules of council, that intent must be expressed prior to the actual change, and we vote on changes the first meeting in January. I thought it was appropriate to mention 3 things that I intend to bring up as a change with regard to the rules of council. Right now, we meet on the 1st and 3rd Tuesdays of the month, and after checking with the people that were elected, as well as the people that continue to serve, as well as Waycross, the law director, and the clerk of council, and the new mayor, my intent is to move council to the work session to the 2nd Tuesday of the month, and our regular general voting session to the 4th Tuesday of the month. This works with our personal schedules, it works with Waycross, and for some time I've talked about the need for us to have current financial data to make decisions, and when you're meeting on the 3rd day of the month, we just don't get all the information fast enough, and sometimes we're considering financial things that we don't have current financial data on. So that's one item. The second item would be to get our rules of council in line with the new charter. The prior council had rules that said special meetings could be called in 12 hours notice. The new charter requires 24 hours notice. So if we have a library emergency, it's going to be 24 hours notice. And the third item, in the current rules of council, if council so chooses, a portion of the meeting or prior to the meeting may be dedicated to prayer, and I am wildly in favor of prayer. However, there's a Supreme Court case right now with regard to prayer. Congress starts their sessions with prayer, or U.S. Congress does, so we don't run afoul of anyone that wants to separate church and state. I'm going to see if we can change that to a moment of silence or a moment of reflection, so that no one accuses us of forcing anything on them. And so those are my intentions with regards to the rules of council. Good. At the proper time, I have 4 ordinances and a resolution.
So, that is good. All right. Any questions for finance?
I do. Not necessarily finance, but Mr. Deans. I just want to make him aware that I have engagements already scheduled with the different courts that I serve as an interpreter, and those are scheduled already through March. So if we have a leeway on that, just wanted to let you know, because I have had those engagements now for 2 years, and that has been set for that. Also, I have it here if you so would like, if anybody would like. I made a sample letter under your suggestion for the senators having to do with House Bill 5 as a sample.
Okay.
Made some copies, and if anybody would like to amend, send, change, whatever you would like to, there they are.
Thank you. Moving along, Recreation Cable TV, Mr. Hermes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have our meeting in the third Thursday of the month in November, the rec commission, and all we did was just discuss with the people that were there as far as who would want to step down, who would want to continue on. And no decisions were made because we're going to bring it up to council and also the new mayor in the first meeting in January, just to let everybody know. So we'll be on track for our meeting coming up in the third week of January. We're not going to have a meeting this month, just for that reason. And we're taking care of. So no decisions were made, no voting was done, we just discussed. And because decisions are really made when we bring it up to council anyway. Let's see. Oh, I have 2 resolutions and 1 ordinance. Go figure.
You'll be a busy guy.
I usually don't have anything.
Yeah, and for those of you who weren't sure what Greg was talking about, the charter changes affect the Recreation Commission. The number of members on the Recreation Commission is going to decrease from 7 to 5. So we're going to have 2 of the folks on rec step down. Also, the changes open up some spots on the Board of Zoning Appeals and the Planning Commission. And that's the mayor's job to make those appointments. So we're going to have a communication to the citizenry via the Journal and the Hilltop. And new administration's going to get that operation to make those appointments. Dave, all yours, baby. Now moving on, community development, Mr. Drees, we have to get for
Light up Greenhills.
Oh, and yeah, we have Light Up Greenhills, and then also Design and Beautification on December 5th. It's gonna be on Thursday at 7 PM at the municipal building, and then also February 15th, I Love Greenhills dinner.
That's design and beautification, okay. All right, that's community development, traffic and safety. Anybody got anything for traffic and safety? All right, streets and services, service and streets. Mr. Adams.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a few things to report as well as some great words for my final report. First, the municipal manager, Ms. Kovac, and I attended the Hamilton County Recycling Awards ceremony on November 20th. This was a really nice event and was a real honor for the village to receive the award for Most Improved Community Recycling Program. So great job by the village manager, the service department, and all the residents in the village that recycle. They had a really nice, pretty interesting award. It was green recycled glass. It was pretty cool. Display.
Yeah, downstairs we're working on the way to mount it.
Okay. But those of you who have not yet started a recycling program in your own home, it's really easy to do and requires very minimal effort. And Mother Earth will thank you, as well as your kids and your grandkids will thank you. I think we make it pretty easy as a village. We offer curbside recycling as well as the multiple recycling dumpsters that are behind the shopping center. As I mentioned last month, let's keep the green in Greenhills. Secondly, my family and I attended the annual turkey raffle that the chief talked about last Saturday night. We had a really good time. We even won a turkey. It's the advice of Mr. Burke. My wife buying the tickets instead of me. That was the change. Great job to the fire department, everybody that puts that event together. And thank you to the fire department for all that they do each and every day. I was speaking to a friend of mine whose son is on the department, and he told me about his most recent firefighting experience. Happened to be helping out there at North College Hill. And to hear the level of danger that these guys put themselves in, the level of commitment and sacrifice, and to do it all for free, strictly volunteer, I think is truly amazing, and I don't think that can be said enough. So thank you to all who have served on the Greenhills Fire Department and who currently serve. Third, an update on replicating our original street signs. The local sign company I'm working with picked up the original sign that we had stored in the service garage and shipped it to a foundry that they partner with to make an actual casting of the sign to replicate as much detail as possible. So pretty excited about that. So we're making strides there. Should have some sort of an example and a price quote within the next couple of weeks. I do, however, I'm still looking for the pole, a street sign pole, a picture of it, an example, something like that. I'm making this casting, we can replicate the sign, but the pole I'm still having a little trouble with. I did have a couple folks gracious enough to send me the pole, the big light pole that would attach maybe one single sign, but I'm looking for more of a residential pole that it would be on. So if anybody has a picture or anything like that, I'd greatly appreciate it if you could pass that on. A couple of reminders, all of you dog lovers out there, you have until January 31st to renew your dog license. It's $19. You can snail mail it or complete the form online at doglicenses.us/OH/Hamilton. If you do not renew by January 31st, the price doubles, $38. So behooves you to take care of. Next Friday, December 13th, 1 o'clock to 7 o'clock p.m. is the second annual Gracie's Give Back Community Blood Drive at the community building. That's, for those of you who might be confused with what building that is, that's the white building in front of the Commons. During the season of giving and goodwill, I can't think of a better way to give than to give of yourself. I think we all know someone who has needed a blood transfusion. You may need one yourself someday. So this is your chance to be a bona fide hero and help save a life. So if you're unable to give blood, we will also be accepting monetary donations, gift cards, and new in the package gifts to be given to the children at the Hematology and Oncology Center at Cincinnati Children's Hospital for Christmas. Lastly, I wanted to congratulate the newly elected council members and the mayor. I have no doubt that you will do a fine job. Some people asked me why I decided not to run for council again, and it was really pretty simple. I try to prioritize the time I'm blessed with each day. My priorities try to be God, family, and everything else. While my everything else was starting to get in the way of my other two priorities. So trying to just make room in my daily planner in several ways, and council was kind of one of them. So time with my children that were here earlier is priceless, and any of you that have raised kids know how quickly it goes by. 1 minute they're in diapers and the next they're in college. So you can't ever get that time back. So trying to soak up as much of that as I can. Truth is, I've thoroughly enjoyed my time on council. It's been a tremendous honor to serve the village in this way. Thank you to all of you that voted for me 4 years ago and afforded me this opportunity. Thank you to my fellow council persons, the mayor, the municipal manager, the clerk, and our law director. It's been a pleasure to serve with such fine people. We may not have always agreed on issues, but we do share the same passion and love for the village. I want to thank Kenny Berg. Thanks for the nice words, and thank you for helping me when I first came on council too. I think anybody knows when you first get on council, you kind of feel your way around and you're not sure what to do. And I appreciate the help you gave me, especially when I first started. Being on council has definitely been a step out of my comfort zone, but I've certainly grown as a person from this adventure. It's made me a better person. And anyone that's considering public service or any leadership role in your community, your workplace, or your school, I urge you to go for it, challenge yourself, believe in yourself. You can do it, you'll be glad you did. You just might be surprised at what you can do if you just take that first step. It's been a very rewarding experience. Being on council has also reinforced to me that you certainly do not need to be on council to have an impact on our village. There's a whole lot of people that volunteer and make this village a great place by giving their time, talents, and resources. They just don't get the chance to tell everybody about it once a month. So a lot of behind-the-scenes people that make our village go. I can't think of a better way to serve than to be on village council. But if council's not your thing, then find a way to make a positive impact on the village that we all share in love. Join a committee, start a club or a group of people that share your interest. Pick up litter on your street or a pocket park near you. Help your neighbor make your house look better than it ever has. Volunteer at a community event or start a new event. Invite a friend to a concert or a festival, whatever it is you wish would change about the village. Take a step yourself towards changing it. You can't complain unless you're willing to be a part of the solution. I believe that Greenhills is still one of the best places to live anywhere in the greater Cincinnati area. And if we stay positive, polish what we already have, and work together to overcome some of our challenges, we would make it even better. So barring the spirit of a very famous presidential quote, I will leave you with this. Ask not what your village can do for you. Ask what you can do for your village.
Amen.
That concludes my report. I have 4 resolutions myself.
You're gonna be a busy boy.
Great job, Dave.
Any questions for citizens? Maria, Intergovernmental Affairs, Laws and Rules. It's your turn.
Would you be shocked if I said I have nothing to say?
Yes, I would.
Oh my
Gotcha.
God.
I told you I'd be shocked.
I know. I would like to I did this last year. I had a summary of the whole year committee and a short version for the record and perhaps to pass to the new mayor for the laws and rules. And everything that we had done and discussed there. I also would like to thank you for your service here. I would like to thank you for your guidance. I love going around and, for the Greenhills, Light Up Greenhills to check on that. And I will do that again this year. Thank you for having me and you driving around while you yell out the number of the house. I don't always, yeah. Mr. Adams, the same. It has been a pleasure serving here with you. And to Mr. Walterman, fine gentleman. I miss him already. He was my co-chair with Laws and Rules, and I was his co-chair for traffic and safety. Now, the hardest thing that I think he ever made me do was to stop calling him Mr. Walterman. And there was no way, I just couldn't. And finally, we just came to terms that, yes, I will try privately calling him Bud. And publicly will always be Mr. Walterman. So you always will be Mr. Walterman to me. Thank you for all your guidance, your support. And I hope you're listening to this. You're a fine gentleman. Thank you so much.
And do you have any legislation tonight?
No, I do not.
All right.
I also wanted to tell you that the fire chief, the police chief and I met at the Jean Dolebois event that night. It was what an incredible night at the American Legion. Legend, 95 years old, he spoke non-stop for an hour and a half standing up.
Wow.
I don't know if he was very polite, and he said he remembered me from the many occasions that we had met. We discussed some of the common things and all that. He sat with us for a while, and it was packed, Mr. Merle. It was from one wall to the other, like I haven't seen the American Legion in a long time. It was incredible.
Good.
So I just wanted to share that with you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I wanted to thank you for your service as well. I really appreciate it. The time I've spent with everybody has been great. I also wanted to thank you for this. Over the top, completely unexpected, and thank you very much. Very special.
All right. We've got unfinished business, apparently a lot of it. So, Mr. Trees, I believe we've got ordinance 2013-39F. And where did we leave that?
We did first reading by title only last year.
Well, I think you ought to read that bad boy in its entirety, if you would be so kind, because it's kind of short.
Because I think, Mr. Forbes, I think he could, can that one be, could they suspend the whole
Yeah.
meeting in its entirety?
Can, but he can read it before
Oh,
we can
okay.
go through all that voting
It's
business.
Okay.
I have ordinance 2013-39F declaring certain village property as surplus property and authorizing the municipal manager to properly dispose of said property, whereas the council has determined that there is certain village property that is not needed or is unfit for public use as set out by Ohio Revised Code Section 721.15. Now therefore be it ordained by the village, by the council of the village of Greenhills, Ohio, members elected thereto concurring. Section 1, that the village property listed in the attached Exhibit A and included herein by reference is declared to be surplus property, no longer needed for municipal purposes or unfit for public use. Section 2, the municipal manager is hereby authorized to sell said property in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code, Section 7.5, which authorizes the municipal manager to sell said property, the estimated value of which is less than $1,000 without any formal bidding procedure, or to sell said property or equipment that exceeds $1,000 after advertisement for a lot less than 2 or more than 4 weeks to the highest and best bidder. Section 3, that this ordinance shall take effect and be enforced from and after the earliest period allowed by law. I move for the adoption of the ordinance.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance 2013-39F, declaring certain village property as surplus property and authorizing the municipal manager to properly dispose of said property. Mr. Dries.
Some surplus office equipment that's no longer needed, and some abandoned and confiscated bicycles.
All right. Any other discussion on the ordinance? Would the clerk call the roll, please?
Adams.
Aye.
Reeves.
Aye.
Hermes.
Aye.
Walter.
Aye.
Ordinance passes. All right, one down. Mr. Walterman.
Mrs. Walter has to take it.
Yeah, I guess.
Um,
40 TNS, we did a first reading by title only? All right.
Authorizing the municipal manager to enter into a contract with the Greenhills Fire Department for fire and emergency protection services. And this ordinance says, whereas the Village of Greenhills, Ohio and the Greenhills Fire Department, Inc. have previously entered into an agreement for the provision of fire and emergency services, and whereas the Village of Greenhills, Ohio desires to retain the Greenhills Fire Department, Inc. to provide such services to the residents of Greenhills, Ohio, and whereas the parties desire to renew and amend the contract for fire and emergency protection as set forth in Exhibit A, attached hereto and incorporated herein by reference, and whereas the village council has reviewed the proposed contract for fire and emergency protection and has determined that it is in the best interest of the village to enter into